G'day all, I'm Graham Sanders and I live at Townsville, North Queensland. That's where latitude 19 crosses the east coast of Australia. I'm doing a management series on the local species Tetragonula Hocking's Eye. Well, it's the 1st of May 2017 and we are into the warm dry period. In other words, the wet season that we normally get every year has missed us, so this hive and all hives have been in drought right through, so they're not particularly as strong as they could be. But let's continue on and discuss what do you do now that the cool, dry and the tropics has come. In other words, we've passed the high humidity and we're into the local temperatures. Temperature now, about 20 degrees. The first of the Hocking's Eye are starting to leave the nest now, and that's good. Temperatures? Well, generally around this time of year, it's 28 to 30 maximums, 20 to 18 minimums, current temperature, 19 to 20 degrees. It's about 7 o'clock in the morning. Reason I'm doing the video now is that I'm going to open up this hive because I've received, let's not say complaints, the odd whinger who sat there and said, we never see inside your hive, we never see inside your hive. So we're going to look into this hive and I'll explain more in a minute why. But by now, you should see that the pests have dropped right away. Only a month ago, I was killing cyprid flies by the living ton, at least 3 or 4 a day. They've totally disappeared. Same with phorid flies, same with fruit flies, all the various pests, they've virtually all disappeared. If you are keen to keep looking into your native beehives in the tropics, this is the time of the year that you do it now because the pests have dropped right away. It's relatively safe to do so, and if you do it early morning like I do, it's even better. I normally look at my hives before sunrise, but because of the certain whingers out there who want to see inside a hive, this is the time to do it. Do you look in every hive? I don't. I generally look into hives that are not as strong as they could be, just to make sure that they're okay. With the dry season that we've got, and not much pollen going in, any weak hive I have a look at, and what are you looking for? Enough stores. The stores should be roughly the size of the brood. Other than that, this is the time of the year where you basically, these bees now start to shut up shop. And what they will do is produce a sheath over the brood to insulate it from any cold weather. So they should have started doing that. Why are we picking on this hive? Well, this hive we're picking on because this is my swarm capture hive. If you go back to about September, I captured a swarm in this hive. So, does my hive design work? Well, I'm about to see because I've never opened this hive. For those who don't want to bother looking up the tropical hive design that I have, there is a pollen chamber down here with a plate, 2 brood chambers, another plate, honey store. Now, one last thing before I open it, because I see this so often in videos, it almost makes me shudder. I don't know how many times I see people get in there, open the hive, the bees start coming out, and as they start coming out, they pull the screwdriver or hive tool out, and the frame then squishes the bees again. That's not good beekeeping. What you should have is spaces like this. Just bits of wood about the thickness of a bee, and when you pry it open, you put it in there to stop the hive collapsing on itself again. Well, let's have a look, and we'll break this hive down one piece at a time. So I'll just put little bits of here, we'll put some here, so we know what we're doing. There we go. Alright, you wanted to look inside. For those who are dead curious, oh well, it's well stuck. And you heard the pop. So I always do that, just to stop it collapsing on itself. Now we can have a look. Okay. Absolutely no activity in there at all. Hopefully you can see that. All looks good. That's a normal beehive. Happy with that. I'm just going to put that straight back on top, because before the bees start getting stirred up and I squash a few, I can just put this back on here and not squash any bees. So we'll put that back on there. That's to be expected. This hive was a swarm capture. I only captured it in November, so this hive is nowhere near full strength. What we're going to look at here is to see, did they use the hive as per my design? Brood in here, pollen down here, and there'll probably be honey down here as well. Haha, here we go. This will be the interesting one. Oh, I do love that pong, that ping. When you hear a ping like that, you know it's going good. Now I'm going to have to jump down once I do this and position this. Have a quick look. Nope, no brood separating, so that's good. I'll just put this upside down for the moment. Oh, if you want to look inside what's there, hopefully you can see that. There's nothing there, just a bit of rubbish. So it's all good. Bees are out and about. Whoops, I'm on a stand here, very unsteady. But it'll work. Alright. Bloody ton of bees, I'll tell you. Alright, let's have a quick look and then I'll position everything. Holy shit. Hive design has worked to a T. I can hear the bees buzzing, and oh, it just looks good. Okay. Doesn't look good if I don't show you. Here's the advantage of doing these things in the morning. You notice I'm quite happily stuffing around here, but there's hardly a flying bee. And that's because it's too early in the morning for them to start flying yet. So as you can see there, my hive design has worked a treat. There's your brood. There's going to be a queen hidden in there somewhere. All looks good. And I can tell just looking down through here, there's pollen in the bottom. So the basic hive design, brilliant. So that is the growth of a typical swarm capture hive from November. Shit, I've always got to get this camera right. Okay, let's go up a bit. Sorry about this. I'm standing on a stool trying to do all this. So you can see there, everything's looking good. They haven't sheathed it yet. They will soon. A quick look says I can see one queen cell in there. That's alright. But it's all looking a typical Hocking's eye nest. You can see the size of the structure. They're about, oh, what did we say? 3/4 up the first box. All good. So to the whingers, you happy? I'm not going to open up the bottom. I don't see a need to. Everything just looks good in this hive. Okay, I think that's enough. If you can't be happy with that. And then I'm going to show you a trick. If I can position this right again. Give fingies and hands and heaven knows what else. Jesus, it's not straight, is it? Let's try that again. Okay. Bloody, this is what I do for you lot. A lot of people I see squash bees after they close a hive off again. And because what they do is they lift the super or the box on and just put it on there and they squash bees. Not a good thing to do. What I tend to do is put some wood on the corners and then place the box on top and then lever the wood out as the bees return back inside the hive. So I have the hive like this. They're starting to fly now. Getting upset, and don't blame the bastards. So, we get the original box. And I position him on. And I don't have to worry about squashing bees when I do this. Just like this for the moment. Now, by just doing that, that keeps the bees a bit happier. Because what I've done here is they're pretty close together, but there's a gap, and there's bees crawling through the gaps here. But what they will do is start to go back inside the hive with the fact that they want to seal up the hive. So their natural instinct is to seal up the hive, and they'll start going back inside to do that. And as they do that, what I can then do is this, and that is slowly lever out this piece of timber, and as I slowly do it, it slowly drops a little bit. So I do it a little bit at a time, and the bees don't get squashed. I rarely get a squashed bee doing that. It takes about 5 minutes. I don't think you need to see that. I'm just going to let these bees rest for the moment as they get back into their nesting thing. You can see a few flying around because they are getting upset. So as I said, I'll position this box a bit better, like that, and like that. And the bees now will go from attack mode, which they are at the moment, in defense, into repairing the nest. And so these flyers will all disappear after a while, go inside. You can see them going in now as we talk. And they'll start to seal up the nest. And before they get there, I'll just look in there and I'll just lever that out very slowly over the next 5 minutes and drop that container back on, and I won't squash a bee. I don't think you need to see that. You can imagine what I'm going to do. So there you go. You've seen a typical nest, and you can see that this hive design has worked. The pollen, they've definitely put the brood where they said they were, when I said they were going to do it. They've got it about that high. Next season, that whole container will be full of brood. So there's your management for the month of May. Have a poke around if you like. Check the weak hives. Make sure they've got food. Oh, one last thing. Did you notice? They used all this for store. Notice there wasn't one bit of store in the brood chamber. That is ideal for Hocking's Eye. All the stores down here, absolutely none. Zero in the brood box. That's what you like to see. That's a good hive.